Hello, this is Mark Summers from Summers Technical Services. We're going to do a little preliminary task here in Mastercam to put our student ID on your red rin shape 2x2x2 block. So I've got a new Mastercam model here open. I'll do my isometric view and I'll throw in a machine. We're going to use our Tormac as usual. So machine, mill, we want to identify the PCNC 440 Tormac we've been using in class, and I'm going to make a stock setup, and since it's 2x2x2, we'll set it up this way. I like the origin to be in the middle at the top, so I'll set it up that way. Alright, so I just want a simple set of text that we can use to do a contour plot with. So I'm going to look down from the top here, and I'm going to go to wireframe and draw some text. You can make it whatever size you want. Create letters, I guess it says. And we want to use this OLF Simple Sans Seals. Oh, see, this is known as a stick font, so it doesn't have any width to it. We just want a simple single edge font that we can just contour around. So you're going to type in your student ID. In my case, I'm student 0. It looks like it's a little large, so maybe I'll bump it down to 1/2 inch. And that seems reasonable. And I'll say OK. I got to tell it, I guess, where it's going to go. Put it at the origin and approve that. And it's justified as such. I'm going to move this, translate this geometry over. So I'll go to transform, translate, I'll grab all the text in selection, and I'm not sure how far to move it over, but I know I don't want to copy, I want to move it. And so let's do -1/4, -1/4. See what that looks like. It looks good up and down. Maybe I want to move a little bit further left, so maybe -1/2 in X. It's a little too far. -3/8 maybe. All right, that seems reasonable. And so I'll say OK. So now I've got some geometry here that I can use to do a contour plot. And so maybe I'll right click and get my ISO view back. And I'll save this just so I can save it. Just save it as a student ID. Go to the right folder. Hopefully y'all got your own folder set up. This is assignment 5. It's not a good place to put it. I'll call it student ID. You'll have this Mastercam model, then you'll have the Mastercam model of all your other geometry. But this will be just a preliminary thing. Once you create your block with your student ID on it, then bring the block by and I'll give you approval once you finish your other Mastercam model to do the actual part milling. Alright, so now that I've got my geometry I want, excuse me, wireframe geometry, I'll go to toolpaths and do a contour, and I'm going to select some geometry to chain, and I'll select this one. And that looks good. I'll select this one. That looks good. I'll approve that. And you can do whatever tools you want to use. Maybe I'll use an 1/8 inch tool. So I'll go to tools. I'll make sure I'm choosing my Tormac tool list, limited tools we have on a Tormac machine. Out there in Makerspace, maybe I'll try an 1/8 inch end mill for grins. And I'll go to linking parameters and do my usual game here. Make all these absolute, and maybe the depth I'll make it 50 thousandths. Absolute, 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 absolute. Maybe that's okay. And we'll leave it at that for now. And now I'm going to do a quick verify, see what it looks like. And my window is coming up somewhere, I hope. There we go. And as usual, I'm going to turn off the holder. I'm going to make it stop after each operation change, even though there's only one operation. And I like my color loop just for completeness. I'll slow it down a little bit here and see what it does. And so what's happened? Looks like my Z is no good. All right, let's go see what I screwed up. So I'll come back over here, go to parameters, linking parameters, and sure enough, I didn't put a negative in front of here. That looks a little better. So I'll regenerate everything. Let's see. Whoop, I don't want backplot, I want verify. All right, let's see if this does anything. All right, we're actually cutting ships here. And it looks like it's got a lead in, which I didn't want to define, so maybe I'll close this out. This is a typical thing when you're first learning Mastercam, like I am. You forget to set things up. So let's go find lead in. And I'm not really interested in having a lead in at this moment. So now I'm going to save this thing again. And then let's do another verify and see if I've got any other errors I need to correct. So we'll hit that button again. And let's see what happens. So it goes down. Contours around that one. Speed it up a little bit. That looks good. And then it's going to do it again on the other side. Then I want to say, well, I don't like that so much. I want to spread these things further apart. Maybe I want to, you don't want that big wide 1/8 inch end mill. Maybe I'll use a 1/16. So let's do a couple of changes. Let's go to the geometry. Or let's go to wireframe. I'm going to spread these zeros out a little bit. So I'm going to again right click. Let's do a top view. I want to do a translate. Transform, translate. We'll grab my geometry and move it over maybe 1/8 of an inch. That seems reasonable, maybe a little bit too far. Maybe I'll move it over 1/16 and approve that. And then I'll grab this guy here, move him over an equal amount the other direction, and approve that. And now I'm going to, since I didn't delete and redraw it, the toolpath is going to follow the geometry. It's just now the geometry's moved over. So now I can check and see what I got going here. Maybe I'll go to parameters and just for fun I'll change the tool size. Maybe I want to see what a 1/16 inch tool looks like. 1/16 inch end mill. And don't forget to change these parameters per our spreadsheet we showed in class the other day. And let's see if I can find what that is for 1/16 inch end mill. We said 60-10 RPM and 7 inches a minute. So I'll change this to 6110 RPM. So that's set, and I also need to go change my linking parameters. I don't want to go more than half a diameter, so maybe I'll make it go down 30 thousandths. And now let's see what the verification looks like. So I'll run this thing, and it goes down and makes a 0, and it makes another 0, and I don't know, that looks reasonable. So maybe I'll live with that. So that gives you an idea how to do your first part of the assignment 5. Get your student ID on one of the sides, and that will use that to correctly orient the part when we install it on my master block to make sure you've got all your features lined up. Another thing that probably would be useful is, especially if you're student 01 or student 10, If you flip it upside down, it's going to go from 1 to 10 and 10 to 1. So maybe put a line underneath. Maybe draw some more geometry down here with a line, and draw a line at the bottom of the set of numbers so we'll know which way it's oriented. So give that a shot. If you have any questions, we'll go over it in class on Monday. So until then, enjoy yourself, and we'll see you then.